Welcome back to Ode to Ghosts. We're your hosts, Will
and Audrey.
And we have, is it just 4 stories every time?
4 stories.
And a video?
Yep.
A video that we both haven't seen.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to my Auntie Sammy.
And apparently it's scary.
I would hope so.
The
kitties got the zoomies, so hopefully they don't
destroy everything.
Knock the camera over or something.
This is episode number 5.
5. A big 5.
Really big number 5.
It is. It's a whole hand now.
I can count on one hand. If I had a nickel for every time there was an episode of Ode to Ghosts, I'd have 5 nickels. It's not a lot of money, but it's crazy that it happened 5 times.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll happen a lot more times.
Like 5 bajillion more.
Yeah. Sure.
5 bajillion more.
Yeah. All right. So, are we ready to start?
Are you ready to
Or
start?
should I ask you how you've been lately?
You want to... Okay.
Which one?
You want to know how I've been?
Yeah.
So we just got done with one of our first workouts in
a
long
while.
Time. I don't know if you can tell or not, but
it's been like 8 months since we've regularly worked out.
Yeah, and we did chest, shoulders, and tris today. When I tell you, it was hard to steer driving home. So
that's good.
I'm
no
sore.
Pain, no gain.
In response to your how are you doing, I'm sore, but otherwise I'm doing pretty good.
That's
I
great.
think. Yeah, how are you doing?
Pretty much the same, except I am very freshly recovered from my leg day.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell y'all that was like the most sore my legs I think have ever been in my life, it like took me back to volleyball preseason in high school.
This is a gym podcast now.
Well, no, it's not. We're just talking about our days. But yeah. And now I'm recovered. So now my arms can be sore for me to do leg day again tomorrow. So.
And I am now very tired. So bear with me.
Yeah. But now we just get to sit down and read scary stories.
Just don't put me to sleep.
That sounds pretty good to me. Are we ready to start now?
Yeah, just don't put me to sleep.
All right. Well, I have the first story today. And this one's a pretty short story, but I would like to discuss some of the comments because some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah, you discuss those comments.
Well, you're going to be a part of this discussion too.
Nope.
Sir.
It's just you. I can barely lift this. Oh my God.
Let me know when you're ready.
I just gotta make sure that it's drinkable. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So the title for this one is called I Saw Myself Standing in the Tree Line While Driving Home. What does this mean?
It means there's a skinwalker.
Ooh,
or a
maybe.
mimic. I already saw. You don't even need to tell the story. I already solved what happened.
And it was posted in the Paranormal subreddit and by the user 2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3.
2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 1 to the 4.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I really need some advice or insight on something that happened to me tonight. I live in a rural area in eastern Kentucky, and I was driving home after leaving my boyfriend's house. I was on a gravel road, just heading down the path back to my place. I was almost home when I saw myself standing in the tree line about 10 to 15 feet away. It was like I was standing there staring at myself, and I swear it was me. Same clothes, same everything. I don't know how to explain it, but I was immediately hit with this overwhelming sense of dread and pure fear. I've never felt anything like it before. I can't speak today. I'm sorry.
No, this is the first time you've actually stuttered at all today, so I think it's just the podcast.
Okay. I didn't stop, but I was shaking as I drove past. I had my small dog with me, and he saw and reacted to it as well. I don't know what it means or what I was seeing, and I'm kind of freaking out about it. Has anyone experienced something like this before? What could it mean? I'm just really scared and would appreciate any help or advice.
Nope.
Thanks.
I've never experienced that before, and God,
Do you have any help or advice?
It was probably a mimic. But I've never heard of a mimic and or a skinwalker mimicking its victim.
So according to the comments, mimics like taking the form of the person physically is actually kind of common. And mimics can be good or bad. They can have positive energy or negative energy.
I thought mimics were like, you don't want to have anything to do with them ever.
I mean, most people, if they experience a mimic, they'd be scared regardless. But we'll touch on it a little bit with the comments because she does mention something like this. She said that she's experienced mimics before, but has had very different feelings surrounding them. So in the comments, let me see if I can find the exact comment that I saw her say that. Give me one moment. Here it is. The only reason I turn away from the idea of it being a mimic is the fact that I have encountered a mimic before. I didn't feel the dread that I felt today whatsoever. I don't know what it was, but it very well could have been a mimic, I suppose. And she was responding.
If it can be both good and bad energy, how would she know? Because you can get the feeling of dread from the bad energy. So if it was a bad energy mimic, then...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the reason she was saying that was because the only mimics that she's ever experienced, she hasn't had dreadful feelings about. So when she saw that, she didn't associate it with necessarily being a mimic, even though they can be negative or positive, I guess.
Okay.
But it was in response to a comment just calling out the fact that it definitely could be a mimic and that they tend to come out more at night. And that same person responded and said, I just did some extra research on mimics so I could give a more accurate response. Mimics can have both good and bad energy. It depends on how long they've been alive or existed for. It also depends on past experiences with other people. Mimics are usually, I keep saying the wrong words. Mimics are actually able to reproduce, and when they do, it comes out the same as one that has existed for 5 years. So it still could have been a mimic, but not trying to convince you to believe anything.
Mimics can reproduce?
Apparently. They could just be like popping up everywhere.
So are there just like male and female mimics?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
And if so, are they like seahorses?
I don't know.
Do the males give birth? I think that would be
I don't
cool.
know if there's genders to the mimics because they're just kind of like energy sources.
So asexual.
But
energy.
I don't know how it works.
Well, come on.
Hey, I thought we were saving the research for our future patron. Like I don't
I don't know.
But it could also be a doppelganger. I'm not sure what the technical difference is between a doppelganger and a mimic.
Well, a doppelganger always... Cats are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Doppelgangers always take the form of its victim because that's what a doppelganger is.
Right.
A mimic doesn't always take the form of its victim. It'll take the form of like the victim's animals, the victim's family, like whatever. So yeah, it could be both. If you're saying that mimics can take the form of the victim.
It could be either one. Yeah. But I don't know much about doppelgangers, but I'm kind of interested in that actually.
You've never heard the term doppelganger?
No, I have. I just in the supernatural sense, I'm not familiar with it. Yeah. Because I've heard of like people finding their doppelganger, but it's just another human being from like another part of the world.
That's what you think.
But that's true. Some other people are telling their own personal stories in the comments too, if you want to hear some of those. They're all pretty short.
Okay.
One of the comments says, over a decade ago, I was in mid-ish California after a deployment with my ex-wife, my best friend, and his wife. We hiked into the backwoods to camp for a nice quiet weekend just to settle down our brains a bit before going back to the real world. It was about 3:30. I went outside to empty my bladder, and then as I'm midstream, I hear my wife calling for help and crying loudly from beyond the tree line. It was her voice, but almost distorted in a weird way. So I looked in the tent and she was just snoring away. I was freaked out, but figured it was just my imagination. The next morning, my best friend was pissed at me and said, "Dude, that shit isn't funny. Calling me from the woods at night. It isn't cool, man." I was floored because I didn't go off into the woods. People have told me mimics can appear as you/someone you love or almost perfectly mimic your voice or someone you know's voice. It didn't make me a believer, but it did open my mind a little.
That didn't make you a believer?
Some people are just very stubborn with...
I mean, I get it, 'cause I'm kind of that way too, but if I heard... Yeah, like if I heard my name coming from... my voice coming from the woods, or
your name, yeah.
Or like your voice coming from the woods, but you were in the tent. I mean, come on.
I wonder if they can hear all this rustling in the background. That's like, when it comes to ghosts and like supernatural stuff, mimics are one of the things that scare me the most, thinking about that happening.
And
because
it's also like, sorry, you can finish.
Because if we were like just in our own home and we were just chilling and I heard you like call my name from somewhere, I would fully just believe it was you. And I feel like I would fall for it.
Hey,
and then don't do that. That's not funny.
You watched me do it. But I wonder if like you experience a doppelganger, if you get like that uncanny valley feeling, or if it's just like so perfect that...
I don't know.
Now that they might be over here. Our two other co-hosts are freaking out right now.
They're very involved in this conversation.
Yeah. Apparently they don't like doppelgangers all that much.
Yeah, sorry guys. Didn't mean to freak you out.
It's freaky, but that's what we're here to do.
This other comment, I haven't read the whole thing, but based off the first couple sentences, it seems pretty interesting. They say, in folklore, literature, and psychology, seeing the spitting image of yourself like that is a bad omen.
In psychology.
Yeah. I wrote a paper in college about the doppelganger in German folklore, German language literature, and German expressionist cinema. It was a blast to research. From what I can remember of it all of those years ago, in recent centuries, as the field of psychology developed, it was noted that periods of extreme psychological or physical stress or danger can cause people to hallucinate images of themselves which are independent of themselves. Examples cropping up in folklore and later in literature over millennia agree that these phenomena are an omen of bad luck, bad health, worsening relationships with other people, etc. So for your case, whatever the cause of your sighting, I hope you never encounter it again, and that you're taking good care of all aspects of your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. So there's another possibility. It could just be like a...
I wonder if that applies to like the seeing yourself in the mirror, but like your body in the mirror does something else than...
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Mirrors.
I would lose my shit if I saw that. That would be terrifying.
You think?
Yeah. Sometimes, like, if I go to the bathroom and I can see, like, if I look in the mirror, I can see, like, the corner of, like, the shower. And sometimes I have to, like, force myself to not look at it because I'm scared I'll see, like, a face pop around the curtain and, like, look at me through the mirror.
Yeah.
Freaks me out.
Love mirrors.
Yeah. But, oh gosh, there's so many more comments under here than when I saw it. Whenever I saw it, there were barely any comments. So now I'm seeing a bunch of other stuff. To me, it sounds like a dogman/skinwalker.
Dogman.
Dogman.
I've never heard of Dogman before.
I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is. Just a dog is a man, I guess.
But if it's taking the form...
Yeah, I don't know. Guess maybe we'll learn about that a little more in future episodes, but
maybe. Send us your stories about Dogman.
That, or there was more than one entity there and a dogman was somewhere nearby out of sight. Not sure what that means.
Nope, not a clue.
But they said that dread is something I hear about in every encounter with Dogman.
Dogman.
And supposedly Kentucky is a hotspot for Dogmen.
Dogman.
Yeah. There's a lot of different theories. Dogman, skinwalker, hallucinations, mimics, doppelgängers. Did I already say doppelgängers? I don't know.
We've been talking about doppelgangers.
Either way. Yeah, there's a lot of different theories about this one.
Dog man.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other input besides just...
Dog man. No, I mean, that's just terrifying. I feel like seeing yourself would be more scary than seeing something else.
Yeah. I don't know, though, because I feel like if I saw, like, a really scary-looking creature, then I'd be, like, terrified of it. I feel like if I saw myself, I'd be more confused.
But then, like, it, like, knows you and it knows your soul. And
That's
like,
true, yeah.
Like,
It would kind of feel like a target.
Gobble you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I feel like my confusion would, like, override my fear in that moment. And then I'd probably get scared later, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever sleep again. Because then, like, what if it's following you?
I would never want to drive on that road again, like at night.
Or just not drive at night ever again.
I mean, I don't know about that. I feel like I just would never be able to drive that road because, like, knowing where it knows your path is.
But I'm saying, like, if it's following you, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know.
Got the shivers.
Oh. Uh-oh. Got the shivers?
Yeah, the scary shivers.
Hopefully it's just a scary shivers and not a wave of cold shiver.
I didn't actually even shiver. I just made myself shiver, and then
Oh.
I was like, "Oh, I have the shivers."
Okay.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll read my shorter one as well. And this wasn't actually a post on a subreddit. It was a comment on a post on a subreddit.
Mm-hmm.
And the username is Wild Croutons. And it's just a short little snippet about something paranormal within an ER.
Oh no.
I wanted to read it because I was like, I mean, I don't work in an ER, but I work in healthcare, and I've always thought about stuff like that, like how they're most definitely ridiculously haunted,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
If I had to stay overnight in hospital for any reason, I'd be scared of the ghosts.
Might be fun.
I don't know.
Get like pampered. Get to do nothing but sleep. I mean, it depends on what it's for, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody necessarily.
But if it was just like one night, and you were already like getting better, but they just wanted to keep you overnight to like monitor you.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what it's for.
And you're just like chilling.
It could be for like a surgery or something that you like really wanted or needed.
Get me some water. Get me something from the cafeteria.
You would act like that?
I would be like, "Hi, can you please get me some water? Or can you please get me some food to eat? Because I am hungry."
Okay.
Anyway. The post that it comes from is asking if any hospital workers have ghost stories.
Okay.
And this person said, "Not very exciting, but when I worked in the ER, there was a back section of rooms that we would typically shut down at a certain point if we weren't having a busy night. That section also had room number 35, which was the room that we moved deceased patients to before they were taken by the morgue or funeral home workers. Mainly because it was in the back, out of the way, and as private as we could achieve in the ER. That back section always creeped me out, but especially room number 35. One night, I was restocking supplies in room number 35, alone in the back section. I saw a man walk by the room out of the corner of my eye and quickly popped my head in the hallway to redirect him. He was headed toward an employee-only set of doors that required badging through. Nobody was there. My stomach dropped. I told myself I was tired / overworked / seeing things, which all could be very possible because I'm probably working like 12, 14-hour shift at that point. But I decided it was time to dip out. Went back to the main ER, and within about 5 minutes, we all hear a scream.
Ooh.
One of the nurses had gone to the back section and came sprinting back towards us, totally spooked. She said she saw a man out of the corner of her eye, and as she turned to look, she felt someone grab her shoulder.
Mm.
She thought someone was going to attack her and screamed, but there was nobody there. We watched the security footage multiple times, and it didn't capture any man/entity/ghost/anything. But watching the nurse's reaction on camera and after, I believed her. She was terrified.
My gosh.
And then somebody said, did you add what you saw so she would feel less like a nut? It would probably help. And Wild Croutons said, I did tell her about my experience as soon as it happened. It was truly out of the corner of my eye, so I just had man, tall, dark hair as descriptors, but she agreed that it fit the description. We were all night shift ER people, so very analytical and usually pretty quick to write off anything paranormal, but that night definitely shook up things for us a lot. And then there was a chat between us.
A chat.
A chat. Stand by.
Okay, standing by.
They said, I don't have any evidence, but it is a true story. The most interesting part to me was watching the nurse's reaction to what she described as somebody grabbing her shoulder on the security footage. You could see her startle, almost jump, scream, and turn around/look around, then bolt back to us as fast as she could. Before that happened, I was perfectly willing to write off seeing the man out of the corner of my eye as simple exhaustion. I didn't want to be seeing any ghosts. But after she had that experience, it kind of solidified things for me that I probably wasn't just exhausted, especially when our descriptions of the man matched up.
Mm-hmm.
Although, admittedly, both of us saw him out of the corner of our eye. To be honest, this was something we spent about 10 minutes on, then we had multiple ambulances arriving around the same time and got busy with working. It wasn't discussed much after that. Nobody took a video of the security footage or anything because that's a good way to get fired, but I think overall, besides myself and the nurse who got grabbed, nobody wanted to think about it too deeply. So yeah, it's a pretty short story, but I just know that the very few times I've ever been in a hospital, not for myself necessarily, but like if I was going to visit somebody or something, as soon as I walk into a hospital, like I get such terrible anxiety, and not like, it's definitely not dread because I don't get like freaked out or anything, but like I just become so like depressed and anxious.
Well, yeah,
And
there's definitely like a heaviness to a hospital. I mean,
well, yeah,
people die there every day. And like, I don't know if it's probably a combination of both, but I feel like that heaviness comes from just like also people who have passed away, but like the people who are there like actively suffering and like,
and especially if it's somebody you're there for.
yeah, but I just feel like when there's so many people in one place that are like struggling mentally or physically or whatever it is, it sets the tone for everybody else. Like there's going to be negativity there. You're going to feel it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's just a little thing, but it's an interesting story, and I 100% would believe that. Like, there's definitely stuff like in the room where you leave deceased patients before they go to like the morgue or whatever. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I don't think I could ever work in a morgue or anything like that.
What do you mean, or anything like that?
Like anything that has to do with like, or like a funeral home or like anything that has to do with like dead people.
Well, don't work in a hospital either.
I'm not planning on it. like people who can work like in the morgue are a different type of people.
Freaks.
I mean, like, I think it's
like somebody's
pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool that they can do that and not like be terrified every time. Maybe they are terrified every time, but yeah. I feel like if you were that terrified of it, you wouldn't choose to do it.
Yeah, but it's just like the very few times I've considered like becoming like an EMT or something. I think about like I would have to like deal with like dead people.
I mean, yeah, sometimes.
It's just
Do EMTs really spend like that much time in the hospital though?
well, no, but like if you have to respond to a scene where somebody is dying or
Yeah.
DOA,
I thought, yeah, I get it. I thought you were saying like specifically
now
to the ghosts
there
thing.
are types of EMTs that do work specifically in emergency rooms, and EMTs aren't just mobile. There are certain ones that like help out in the emergency room, but yeah, I just can't like. It's just such when you haven't done it. I feel like it's such a hard like idea to grasp. Like you're going to help this person while they're like, or like try to prevent them from dying, or you don't know that they're dead and you're trying to like resuscitate them or whatever. That's scary.
Yeah, and also just the thought of like experiencing someone dying right in front of you.
Yeah. It's just a lot of things that people don't think about. Like when you give CPR, you're literally like breaking their ribs to save their life.
I think about that all the time.
All the time.
Yes. It's like one of those things that's just always in my mind for some reason. Like, I don't know. I used to, like growing up, I used to think like, oh, CPR, it saves someone's life. Like, oh, good and great. And then when I realized like that you're just crushing bones when you do it, it's not so fun and exciting anymore.
I've only, like I have my certification, but I've only ever done it on the mannequins, and they honestly need to make at least like an occasional mannequin that simulates the like actual, because you like want to know, because you don't want to be like, oh my god, am I hurting this person?
Yeah.
Like, should I stop?
That would be, yeah, like feeling like bones just breaking underneath your hand. Sorry, no, I can't.
Big
I would if I
to
really had
all
to, but
EMTs
like
and paramedics and all other first responders, because I mean, and anybody in the hospitals and even in outpatient clinics and stuff, like, because I mean, not that that ever really happens in outpatient clinics, but there's always a possibility.
Yeah.
Y'all be saving lives.
Yeah. And with the CPR thing, I really, really, really hope that I am not in a situation where I have to be receiving CPR, because I do not want to deal with a bunch of broken.
Well, broken ribs isn't really that bad.
It's still a broken bone. I don't want to have to deal with that.
But would you rather die?
Well, no.
Okay, you'll get over it.
But
I feel
you're saying that like it's going to happen to me.
I genuinely feel like breaking somebody's ribs would be worse than having your ribs broken, especially if it gets broken like if you're unconscious.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess like most of the time you're unconscious if you're getting CPR. Most of the time.
Sometimes.
Or not all the time.
Because you can be.
Yeah.
You can have a pulse and be conscious.
Yeah.
Breathing. Well, I'm not gonna.
I don't know.
The fact that like I've taken these classes, I'm still like I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I feel like if your heart stops and you need CPR, like you're probably going to be unconscious, right?
Why do I feel so stupid? Can you please look this up? I don't know why I'm blinking right now.
What am I searching? Like
what you just asked.
Like, can you be awake? Like,
can you be conscious while needing CPR? Well, no. The answer is no.
Getting chest compressions.
You could just put CPR.
Well, there's different types of CPR. There's like mouth-to-mouth CPR. No, you should not perform chest compressions on a conscious person.
Why am I so stupid? Why was I even considering the fact that you would be conscious while your heart's not?
CPR is only designed for people in cardiac arrest and is unnecessary and dangerous for conscious individuals.
I'm such an idiot. I shouldn't be a...
Well, now you know.
Like, I feel like I already need... Like, I shouldn't be a medical assistant. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm out here stabbing people and stuff. I don't have a certificate or nothing. I mean, I have a first aid CPR certificate, but that doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Gotcha.
Y'all just watch me be an idiot, I guess.
I'm surprised that you're admitting so much about you being supposedly stupid in your medical workplace.
I mean, I don't deal with like emergencies, so.
Okay, but still, if I saw like my regular like if I go to a doctor's office and I'm being treated and given vaccines by a medical assistant, and I see my medical assistant on a YouTube video talking about how basically saying they don't know what they're doing, I'd be like, oh.
Okay, so there's a difference in not knowing what you're doing with things that you've never done before, and not like I know what I'm doing when it comes to the things that I do every day.
Okay, but the way you were talking about it was you were seeming like you have no idea, like you just.
I know how to, and like I can.
It looks like it.
Looks like it.
Looks like it. That's how you give shots.
I'm weak. I couldn't reach all the way over here.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So you're going to want to lift up your sleeve and you're going to want to relax your arm as much as possible because the more relaxed you are, the less it'll hurt and the less likely you are to tense up.
Yeah.
And you inject the vaccine, or in some cases, the steroid or antibiotic, into the deltoid. The deltoid is just above the bicep and just below the shoulder, right here. And you go, what? It's just like shooting darts.
All right. He had to prove to everybody that he does know what he's doing.
Because you were like, seems like it.
What? I don't think I've ever seen a doctor give a vaccine into someone's arm like that.
Because I told you I couldn't reach all the way over
Yeah, it was a joke.
I just had to let you know.
All right. We have a video.
It's time for the video segment.
I don't know if you mentioned this already, but neither of us have seen it yet.
I did say that already.
Okay.
It's okay.
Well, whatever.
You're forgetful and I'm stupid.
We're
a great couple.
The TV is not on.
Cut to the video. Oh,
I thought that was a ghost.
I hate dark. I hate downstairs dark. The dog freaking out too.
Hello? Oh my god!
Okay, it wasn't as bad since there was no like.
Okay, I thought I was gonna have to see something run up the stairs. Yes, but oh my gosh, I'm gonna go back and play it again.
Okay, now
not
I can
the whole video.
Well, no, you can do the whole thing again because now I was like half watching it that time because I was scared, but now I'm not scared.
Okay.
If your animal is freaking out, dude. Oh my god.
Hello? Oh my god!
Hell no. That is. Oh my gosh. Sam.
That
was actually a very good video, but like.
We are never having a
really
basement.
Ever?
I refuse to have a basement. I'd rather have an attic.
Just not a scary basement. Like not like a scary dark basement.
Doesn't matter if it's going downstairs and it's nighttime and it's dark.
But you'd be okay with having an upstairs?
Yeah.
Where you'd then still have to go downstairs?
It's different.
No, it's not. If you have a finished basement where it's like nice and it's like the same as the other floors.
It's just something about underground floor or whatever. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that looked like a scary basement to me, with a scary stairwell.
But also, it could have just been a completely normal basement, but it's, like I said, it's dark. So, like,
It looked scary, but
because it was dark. Explain yourself.
it just looked scary. It just looked like a creepy basement.
Okay.
But I'm surprised he didn't start.
So this is happening.
I'm surprised he didn't start like running back up the stairs right when he heard that sound. I would have. I would have been
like super like slow creaking, like stomping before it.
Yeah, and
Right.
even when like the fast stomping happened, like he was still just standing there, and I'm like, get out of there.
So, hi Ned.
Ned, would you like to say hello? Would you like to say hello? He's shy.
He's actually not.
He's shy right now.
I guess he's microphone shy.
Hello. What do you have to say?
I mean, I was really hoping
he'd meow into the microphone. Yeah.
Okay, you're being super awkward right now. Come on, dude. Figure it out. Sit yourself down somewhere. Be the centerpiece or something. Don't even think about it.
I think he's just looking.
What do you see? This is about cats. This is way more important than our ghost stories.
Yeah. Cats are one of my favorite things in the world.
Okay. I guess we can jump to your story now.
Okay.
Wow me.
So we're going to be going back to the topic of hellhounds.
Hellhounds again? I didn't think there'd be that many stories about it.
There are. And I got this story like around the same time that I got the other hellhound stories, and I didn't want to share like a whole bunch of them all at the same time, so I saved this one. But
Don't do it, Ned.
Alas, we are finally reading it.
You're looking up there way too much. No, not my tea.
I can't see your face now because Ned's right in the middle, but
if you can
that's
sit
fine.
down and be nice, you can stay here. But otherwise, you're going to need to excuse yourself.
There's not even food involved.
No, he's just like...
And you still being all... This is the most like food-driven cat I've ever met in my life.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here he comes. Are you going to stand down? Okay, goodbye.
Anyways. Oh, no. What just happened?
Oh, what now?
Okay, it's back. I just accidentally opened up a different tab. Okay. So, title, I saw a hellhound? Question mark. Posted by the user designer-jellyfish61.
Designer jellyfish.
In the Ghost Stories subreddit.
All right.
Okay. You ready?
Born ready.
Hey, I've posted here before, and you probably recognized me from the George the Ghost post I made last time.
I don't recognize you.
Which, if you want to hear the George the Ghost story, I can find it and read it.
Well, not right now.
Okay. As I've stated before, I have tons of stories to share. So today, I will share one that happened 2 years ago that I still don't understand or know if it actually was a hellhound. For context, this was on my grandparents' property that had tons of negative things happen. Most of it is not my place to share or say, but what I will say is that my grandparents' parents used to own even more than my grandparents do now. One chunk of property was sold behind the family's back, and another part of the property was now a common swim hole that we had to sell to the government for some reason I'm not aware of. The rest of the property was split among my great-grandparents' 3 sons. My grandfather's portion of the property has 2 of his sons' houses living there. One of my uncles had a bunch of stuff happen that is not my place to say, and my other uncle's house used to belong to my great-grandmother. My great-grandmother died in that house, and later the house was remodeled to fit my uncle, his wife, and 2 children. There's no need to keep going because a bunch of stuff happened over the different properties and hundreds of acres. Me and all of my cousins have seen unexplainable things. I've caught ghost photos, and my cousins have played with Ouija boards all over that property multiple times.
Already a big mess.
I have hundreds of stories from this place, but this one always throws me for a loop. This happened around March time. My other great-grandmother had just died due to a heart attack on her way to the hospital, so my family had to come stay a few days for her funeral. My grandparents used to have this vehicle that we would call the Boda. I was driving the Boda that night and going down the different gravel roads through the grassy fields
That's a Kubota.
and forests to drop all of my cousins off at their houses since they had all come that day to visit.
It's like a compound.
Huh?
It's like a family compound.
Yeah, pretty much. I was approaching the first cousin's house only to slam the brakes when I saw something terrifying. The best way to describe the pure size and massive mass of the creature is to describe this dog that we used to have on the property, a Rottweiler. The Rottweiler was massive and could stand mid-chest next to you on all fours. The mass of the creature was almost like if you picked up that dog and held it in front of you to make it seem like it was standing on a grassy hill, about 50 to 100 feet away. The creature was
You're doing great, sweetie.
The creature, nonetheless, was 3 to 4 times the size of the Rottweiler. Its fur was pure black and exactly the shape and build of the Rottweiler. It had deep red eyes that you could hardly see in the dark, and it slowly walked across the grassy hill until it disappeared into the forest. I looked at my cousins, face white as paper. "Did you see that?" I asked. They looked at me confused and collectively said no. I took them home and was anxious the entire time on the lonely and dark drive back to the main building, my grandparents' house. The next day, we had my great-grandma's visitation, and after my family and cousins ate supper at my grandmother's house. Me and my cousins decided to go to the same grassy field that night together to reflect on the recent death and just spend some quality time to wind down and relax. My cousin was being stupid, turning off headlights to the Boda for short periods of time, saying that she could see due to the bright moonlight that night. That night, we crashed into a ditch. The exact day after I saw the big black dog that I assume was a hellhound. Luckily, we managed to get the Boda out of the ditch and drove the rest of the night in silence, except for my cousins yelling at me for being no help getting the vehicle out of the ditch. To be honest, I was crouched in a corner panicking. If anyone thinks this is anything other than a hellhound, I would love to hear your theories.
I mean, that's the only thing that...
Yeah.
The red eyes... I'm pretty sure they are kind of like Rottweiler. But I don't really know if they can take on.
Yeah, I can picture it.
Fetch me their souls.
One of the comments says, "Hellhounds can be an omen of death, at least in the UK. My cousin recently attended a folklore lecture at his local library. Someone afterwards told him she'd seen black shuck, what black dogs are called in East Anglia, in a field. It had red eyes. Oh my gosh. Not long afterwards, her elderly aunt had passed away. So it could have been a sign of death, like about her grandmother dying.
But aren't they like typically pretty aggressive though? Like that one just stood there, right?
Yeah. I don't know. They could have just been like an omen, like they said. Just kind of appeared to be like, I'm here.
I don't feel like hellhounds would be like, that's like, when I think hellhound, I think like antagonizing you, like coming after you, like.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was literally the only other comment on this one besides mine asking about it. But yeah, which luckily I just finished the story because my battery is about to die on my laptop.
Great.
I just got the notification.
This is perfect.
But this is a little off topic. This is about the previous story that I had told. I forgot that the girl who told that story has other stories, or like another story where she said that she saw like a goat man of some sort. She mentioned it in the comments, so I DM'd her and I asked her if she could send us the story, and she said that she will send us like a big long thing with other stories, including that one. Nice. And she said it was supposed to she said she would send it like sometime today, so I was hoping I'd have it before we filmed, but haven't gotten it yet. So
Goat man.
that will be for future episode
We
when
got
I get
dog
that.
man. We got goat man. We got copycat man. We got
Mothman.
Mothman.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say about that story. I mean, I wish it would have done more than just like stand there. Well, like for their case, not really, but like I feel
Did
like
you
that
hear
would.
that? He wanted something bad to happen.
I just feel like we could have maybe come up with something a little bit better than.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the omen of death thing makes a lot of sense.
I guess.
But
Guys, we're really
what do
boring
I
today.
know?
We don't have a lot of. We're not very informed on these topics, apparently. Oh well.
yeah, it's fine. You have one story left.
I do
right?
have one story left. So I'll give you an option.
Okay.
You get to choose which type of story we hear about.
Okay.
So it's either. Oh, I gotta remember what the title was. Sorry. Military man that haunts my townhouse,
Okay.
or the other sleep paralysis story from my other auntie.
I would like to hear the sleep paralysis story, please.
You would like to hear the sleep paralysis story?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Stand by again. Say something.
I don't really have much to say right now. I'm sorry.
This is going really well.
Well, maybe you should have had your story prepared.
Well, I thought you were
In
going
the
to say the
case
other
of-
one.
Oh,
And so I
really?
had to, yeah. So I'm
Oh.
having to pull up the email on my phone.
Hmm.
Okay.
You have it ready now?
Yes. I think I'm pretty sure it has to do with sleep paralysis, but it's titled Demon Story.
Okay.
Thank you, other auntie, for submitting this. Apparently my aunties are haunted.
Both of our aunties are haunted. We had the video from my auntie, and then you have your stories from yours.
Mm-hmm. Great. Let's do it. Sorry.
Why did you do that?
I got dry mouth,
That was okay.
and I already finished my drink.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right. Since my father died in February of 2023, I have experienced odd happenings in my home. Example, the deep freezer door open alarm dinging. I go out to the garage and the freezer door is opened and nobody has been in the garage at all. Okay, I've been in this house a bunch of times and I've never gotten the vibe of it being
Yeah, me neither.
haunted at all. Another example, items falling off the counters when nobody's in the kitchen. Items in my house disappearing with no explanation. La, you're freaking me. You're freaking me out. I never.
Oh.
And like, I've even stayed the night at that house before, and I've never like.
Have you stayed the night
Actually-
since this stuff has been happening?
Maybe not. I don't
Yeah.
know. I vape, and I feel like my dad is trying to get me to stop by taking my vapes.
Sorry, that's funny.
He would not want her to vape.
Yeah.
Those things don't bother me as much as what I've experienced when I go to sleep at night. I put that in quotes because I swear I'm awake during these ordeals. I have experienced sleep paralysis several times in my life without the horror of these demon creatures joining in the experience. However, in the past 2 years, the sleep paralysis with a side of utter terror has reared its ugly head several times. First, I will describe the demon creature. It is like a white floating form. It is like a white, yeah. I can't really make out a face because it's not really a face. I see holes where the eyes and mouth are supposed to be, but they aren't there.
Stop. This is freaking me out.
Is it really freaking you out that bad?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's because I have been in her house before, and
Yeah.
it's just like I guess I can picture it better, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's almost like a cloud that takes human form but has no legs. Maybe like a sheet ghost, but not the cute Casper kind, the terrifying kind. The ordeal starts with me not being able to move my body in any way apart from my eyes. I think this is intentional because the demon creature gets off on me being forced to see and feel every second of the absolute horror it imposes on my body. I feel the dread sink into my heart and chest because I know what is about to come. While I'm in bed, the demon creature starts pulling at my feet, trying to drag me off the bed. Stop.
Oh my god.
And this is another. We also react like this more to these because like we said last time, we know these people
Mm-hmm.
and like they wouldn't just be making this stuff up. Oh my goodness, I lost my spot. I am screaming and fighting as hard as I can, but I can't move a muscle. I have no defense against this creature that is floating over my bed. My boyfriend can't hear me even though I feel like I am screaming bloody murder. I start to move and suddenly I am levitating above my bed. I can see my boyfriend sleeping below me. I am still fighting to get away and the demon creature is still pulling at my feet and dragging me towards the bedroom door to wherever it wants me to go. I'm able to picture this perfectly because like I know what their room looks like and everything. Sorry, I keep looking up and then losing my spot. Then the demon creature is suddenly gone. I can move again, thank God. I roll over and touch my boyfriend's shoulder just to feel some sense of reality and comfort. Then I realize I am dripping in sweat and my heart is pounding in my chest like I have just run a marathon. The thing about this experience is that it's not like I wake up from the experience. It's all while I'm already awake, or at least think I'm awake. I swear I'm awake. I didn't share these terrifying ordeals with anyone for a long time because I felt like people would think I was absolutely crazy. However, I did eventually talk with my sister about it because she is the one I can always go to with no judgment. Come to find out, she has experienced the same type of thing, which we have learned in the last episode. Are demon creatures targeting our family? My sister lives 4.5 hours away from me. Is it hereditary? Kidding. Maybe some families have demon creatures that taunt them and some don't. I would love to know if anyone else out there has had this happen to them so I can grip onto some sense of validity. I worry about going to sleep at night now and pray every day that the demon creatures will leave me alone. Thoughts? XO. Allah.
Ugh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Anything like associated with like sleep paralysis or demons is a big no-no for me.
Yeah.
But
You said you've experienced sleep paralysis once?
once. Yeah. And did I not tell this? Did I not tell this last time?
You mentioned it last time, but you didn't tell the story.
Oh. I was like, so this was in the house before the one that we're currently in now. I was like maybe 10. My sense of time with that kind of stuff is not really good. I don't remember how old I was. But I was super young. And my room was this like little square bedroom and my bed was facing this way and there was a door here. And the door was like in a long hallway that connected the living room and then my parents' bedroom and then another bedroom. And I just remember one night I fell out of the bed, and as soon as I fell out of the bed, I couldn't move my body at all, and my head was locked in the position of the creepy dark hallway. And I could feel myself trying to scream for my parents, but like I could tell. It was weird though because like I could tell that what I was trying, like what was actually coming out was very breathy and like a whisper. I was like that kind of thing. But it felt like I was using my entire chest to say it. I didn't like see any figures or anything like that, but I've never had any other sleep paralysis experience since then. But that was like, and I feel so terrible for like the people that it affects consistently because it's terrifying.
I haven't experienced it in years, luckily, but it used to happen to me all the time. And the thing is it would only happen to me in my old creepy house. I'd never experienced it before then. And granted, like I was pretty young when we moved into there, but like it also started happening to me when I was pretty young at that house. So like,
Then you had some experiences while we were like first dating too, right?
mm-hmm. I had it pretty much the entire time we lived in that house. And then as soon as we moved out, I haven't had it since then at all.
Oh, really?
In any of the apartments we've been in or in my parents' new house, I haven't had it. So
That says a lot.
yeah, because at first, like for a while, I just thought it was like regular sleep paralysis that people just sometimes experience, like nothing like ghostly about it. But considering it was like only in that house, and also some of the experiences that I had like were kind of paranormal. Like there was one time where this was before the bedrooms got remodeled, so like you only know the bedrooms how they were remodeled. You hadn't seen them before then, but basically it was like you go up the stairs and then there's just one door to the left, and then that you walk in and it's Matthew's room, and then you have to walk through his room, and then there was another doorway that led to my room, and it was like one big room, but there was just like a wall between it. And so my room was the further room from the stairs. And I had that, you remember the creepy closet in my room?
Mm-hmm.
That closet was still a part of my room then. And every single time that I got sleep paralysis, like you said, my head would be kind of like locked into that direction, like towards the closet door. And in this specific time, I remember like just like being frozen like in sleep paralysis and just like staring at the door and just like having this like feeling of like dread of like just of the closet door. And that was the first thing that happened that made me scared of that closet, because before I was like, whatever, it's just a closet, it's fine.
Right.
But then that's when I started getting scared of it. And then like years later, when the rooms were renovated and everything, and what my parents did was like they knocked out that wall, and then that entire area became my bedroom, and they built on a different bedroom for Matthew. I said that weird. Matthew. And so I still had that creepy closet, and this time my bed was like if this was the closet, then my bed was like over here, kind of like facing it a little bit, but it was like
almost facing it.
it was like away from it.
Yeah.
And this one particular time, I got sleep paralysis. My head was facing the closet, and it looked like, I didn't see any figures, but it looked like there were like dark, like black shadows, almost like bleeding out of the door. You know, like kind of like, what's the best way to describe it? Like fog, but like dark fog but it looked like it was like creeping out the door, the sides of the door. Because it was like the door like didn't fit perfectly on the actual doorway. So it was kind of leaned up against it a little bit, and it was like partially open on the sides. And so I remember that one specific time that happened. But I mean, it's happened to me like dozens and dozens of times over the years of that house.
And it can't be something that like you ever get used to.
No. Every single time it happened, it was just as terrifying as before. But luckily it hasn't happened to me before. It's like since then. I used to think that it was like something that I would just have to deal with for my entire life. Like I just thought it was something that happened. But I haven't had it in like
that would
4 years-ish.
Yeah. 3.5 maybe.
Yeah.
But jumping back to what she was saying, I've never heard of an experience of somebody having a demon or whatever, but it be white.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's usually always like dark figures.
And like obviously it has like, because you like usually white's associated with like heavenly, like good.
Yeah.
And then the dark stuff is like hellish. But obviously it like had a bad intention.
That's interesting.
I have no helpful thoughts for this because I've never heard of a white evil figure.
Yeah.
It's almost like a wolf in sheep's clothing kind of thing.
Yeah, again, like I'm not like an expert on this, but I would say, like, since you've experienced things happening physically in your house, like things going missing or things getting knocked over and like doors being open and stuff, like, I don't know if you've already tried this, but you could literally just try like talking to it and being like, don't bother me. Like, either don't bother me or leave, you know? Like, some people have success with that, like actually directly telling it to stop.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, that doesn't work. You could get like sage
Yeah.
and see if that works. But like
Yeah.
actual sage.
Yeah.
I know actual sage is supposed to be good, but I'd still be scared to use it. Like you accidentally use it incorrectly or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, that can happen.
Yeah. But I don't just mean like missing a room or something. I just mean like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you have to have like pure intentions behind it too. Like, your intention while you're doing it matters and not just the action of doing it. So,
Man, that's crazy. Maybe we should do some more research on that and come back to it because like I've never heard of the white figure thing.
Yeah. I agree.
Stop moving your mic. You're going to be making noises.
It's not me moving it. It's like it keeps like slowly moving over as I move my chair.
Oh, is it locked? Is it tight
Yeah.
over there?
Yeah. I don't know.
Sorry, your mic's probably going to be all noisy now.
I'm trying to hold on to it, but it keeps moving every time I move my chair. Anyways.
And just the fact, like, I don't know if she really clarified, like, if it pulling her was just a sensation and she still ended up, like, in the exact same spot in the bed that she started in, or if, like, she was legitimately moved.
Well, she said that she can look down, like she could look down and see.
Right, but I was just looking to verify if she said that, like, it actually moved her, or if it was just attempting to move her.
Yeah, I don't think she clarified that far. It didn't seem like it actually is able to pull her anywhere.
No, yeah, because she levitated, and then she could see her body trying to be moved.
Mm-hmm.
But then, no, she didn't. Based on what this says, she'd never actually physically moved.
Ugh. Creepy.
But I would love to hear some responses in the comments or anything if anybody's ever dealt with a white figure.
White demons.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I hate that you have to worry about going to sleep at night. I never would have thought that house would have anything.
Now every time you go back, you're gonna
think about
be
that.
scared.
Yeah. Well, I'm usually only there during the day, but also, have you ever had any of the puppies react
That's true.
negatively? Because then you really know.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they've like barked at random things or like stare at things that aren't there or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, maybe you are asleep and you don't know it, but
Just trying to rationalize it. But like it.
that's hard to rationalize, man.
Yeah.
Like the whole floating thing and everything. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be able to rationalize it.
no. Well, send us updates and stuff. I don't want you to really have any updates because that's scary. But
Yeah.
if you gather any more evidence or like information willingly or not willingly, we'd still love to hear about it when you come to the point where you feel like you can share it, because I know the feeling of like not wanting to feel like you're crazy or like just not wanting to speak on it because it's so terrifying.
Yeah. Well, that was our last story.
That was our last story.
Ever.
We've done
I'm
such
just
a good
kidding.
job at not like trying to make random ads or anything. Probably, I guess, because there's no.
Well, now you brought it up.
Well, I'm not making an ad.
Okay.
I don't have anything to make. If you want to have good,
No, you're giving an ad.
if you want to have good breakfast or lunch, go to Salty Mike's with the Marina Variety Store restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina. Really good shrimp and grits and really good. It was like a crab cake egg Benedict thing.
Mm.
Yeah. Ads. If we keep doing ads about random stuff, maybe somebody will sponsor us eventually.
Maybe.
Roku.
Hopefully. Oh my gosh. We have been using Roku in every episode so far.
Yeah,
except for one.
You don't know it, but it's up there.
Yeah.
Apple. Look.
Okay, let's move on from the
iPad,
ads,
iPhone.
please.
I'm recording all this onto a MacBook. I edit all of it on a Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Ned's telling me to shut up.
Come here, Ned. Do you want to help close out the podcast? Let's go. Come here. What do you have to say to the people?
He's not going to say anything.
Do you have
He just wants to
anything say?
relax.
Okay. Just relax.
All right. Well, that was episode 5.
5.
Thanks for hanging around and watching. And
Yeah.
man,
I feel like this was kind of a more low energy episode today, but
definitely.
we're a little low energy today.
We killed
We
ourselves. at the
we
gym.
still had to
But
come
I've
through for
seen-
y'all though.
I've seen a lot of people say how they enjoy like how we're relaxing and stuff and not
Well, that's
super
good because that was kind of
over
like
the top.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I want this to be a podcast where people can just kind of like chillax.
But
and
today's this one's gonna be
this is
extra
a really relaxing
extra
one.
relaxing. I might
Just
actually put you to sleep.
Yeah, just y'all, if you're having like if you're having a low energy day, you're just feeling a little lazy and a little sleepy. Don't worry, we're the same way.
We're here for you.
So
We're gonna go to bed right
we
after
understand.
this movie.
Don't feel bad about it. But yeah, that's all I have to say for today.
Close us out, lady.
We'll see you next week.
Wow, that was great closing out. Bye.
Bye.